everybody, and welcome to another episode of B&B Talk SC. We are your hosts, B. Brandon, V. Vince. How you doing today, Vince?
Good, man. Ready to talk some defense.
Yes, this will be our episode where we break down our defensive depth chart.
Yeah.
So, you know, a lot of people say this is the strength of the USC team this year. How you feel about it, Vince?
That's definitely how I feel. I mean, if you guys seen our previous videos, you know we feel like the defense is going to be strong. We feel like the defense is going to carry the team. There's at least 4 guys out there starting with at least 3 years of starting experience. So we feel real strong about the defense, and you know, we're not the only ones who feel that way. So we're gonna do a little breakdown for y'all. You know, break down position by position, and talk about some depth, and you know, get it in.
Let's get it in, and let's go ahead and get started with the D-line group. You know, and USC's defensive line is a bit unique. It is considered a 3-man front in most cases, but you know, because of the nature of the Pac-12 and how receiver heavy a lot of the offenses are, we run a lot with 2 D linemen.
Right.
So you know, let's break it down with starting off with 3 D linemen. Who do you think the first 3 on the depth chart will be this year?
First 3 on the depth chart. If we had to start a game, play a game right now, gotta have a big Alaskan right there at nose tackle, right there, right over the center. Gotta have Brandon Peely in there.
Yeah.
I would definitely go. I'm of the opinion. I think Caleb Tremblay, you know, coming from the JC. I know we got, you know, Malik Dorton, who's been around. I think he'll actually be starting on one of the defensive tackles.
You know, they brought in Caleb Tremblay to kind of replace the void left by Rasheem Green, so that does make sense. You know, Malik Dorton is a veteran on the team. I believe he's a 5th-year senior this year out of St. John Bosco.
Yep.
So that spot's kind of open for grabs. So we'll see how that position battle goes as fall camp, you know, continues and carries through. And at that other end spot, who do you see picking up the slack?
Christian Rector.
Christian Rector, yeah.
Christian Rector, the sack machine, number 89.
He had a big year last year, you know. And Christian Rector, he had what, 7.5, 8 sacks last year.
Yes.
Missed time with a broken hand, came back from injury, and he was just very disruptive.
Yeah.
Very disruptive.
Yeah. You definitely notice him, man. I mean, he pops. He's one of those guys. I mean, like B said, he had 7, 8 sacks. At one point, he was leading the Pac-12 in sacks before he got hurt.
He was.
The guy's a beast, man. You know, we're gonna see a little more improvement from him, I believe, in the run game. We know he can rush the quarterback. But yeah, I definitely see, you know, in the three rotation, we got the man in the middle, the big Alaskan Brandon Peely, we got Caleb Tremblay, and then we got Christian Rector. But we got a wealth of an abundance of defensive linemen for you quarterbacks out there.
Yeah, and you know, let's go through that depth a little bit. You know, behind that first group of guys, we already talked about Malik Dorton possibly being in that rotation at that other end spot. You still got a guy in Marlon T. Marlon T. He came into USC as a true freshman last year, early entry in the spring. He played. He started the season off, you know, and then he got hurt, and he was able to preserve his redshirt year. So he comes back as a redshirt freshman again after having some experience last year. Right,
exactly. And speaking of redshirt freshmen, you know, we got a guy who was another highly touted defensive lineman a couple of years ago in Jay Tufele.
Jay Tufele, another one.
You know, Jay Tufele, I mean, everything we heard about him during the spring, man, the guy was out there killing it, you know. He's 310, 320 poundish, you know, type frame.
He's put some weight on, and he looks solid, you know. From the pictures I saw of the guys the other day at their media day photo session or whatever, Jay and Marlon T, they just look like some stout dudes that you're going to put all across the D-line. Man, you talking about some beef that we haven't had in a while.
Man, and Jay Tufele is real sneaky athletic at D-lineman. Like, he's going to play on the outside.
Yeah, he's going to be a 5 technique. He's going to be a 5 technique.
Exactly.
So he's going to match up with tackles on the outside, and you know, that's a lot of weight he's throwing around for those guys to handle.
Man, that much weight, because you typically, you know, down the outside is 270, you know, 280. Yeah. You got a guy that's 310, 315 that can move.
And move you.
Yeah, exactly.
He's gonna move you.
Right.
And you know, there's even more depth behind that. You still go down the line. You got guys like Liam Jimmins. Liam Jimmins been in the program for a while now. Incoming freshman Trevor Trout, who is a big man.
Man, huge. That
He's
dude,
a big
out
man.
of all the freshmen, you know, him and Amon St. Ross St. Brown
Yeah, it's a
were
long
the two
name.
the two most physically impressive that I've seen out of the true freshmen.
You know,
that dude,
there's another one who impresses me a little bit on the physique side, but when you talk about Trevor, man, I never seen a guy that big with shoulders like that, man. I'm just looking at him like, and you could tell he's still got room for development, man.
But he's built so like,
he's built like a bodybuilder almost.
Yeah.
At D tackle.
Man, and the dude is he just looks like he's like a, I don't even know what the right word is, but it's like a stout but a big build. It's like a big stout build. He's just solid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the kid is, you know, like you said, he's a true freshman. So he's. Go ahead, my bad.
Oh no, go ahead. Continue.
I was gonna say this kid, you know, came from St. Louis. You know what I mean? So you know, he's kind of in a different region of the country. You know, not somewhere where we typically recruit players. We definitely don't get, you know, interior linemen from, you know, that part of the country. You know, if anything, we'll get a skilled player or something like that. So, you know, it's a different guy with a different type of body. You know, hopefully he's going to bring a different attitude and, you know, just add it to this SC mix.
Yeah, man, and two other guys who are going to get some play on the D-line. I really think Connor Murphy. Connor Murphy's going to see some time in there. Connor Murphy came into USC from Arizona as an outside linebacker type. I always thought the plan was going to be for him to eventually put his hand in the dirt. You know, you're talking about a guy who's 6'7", 6'8" almost.
Right. 280 pounds.
Yeah, he's probably around 285, 290 at this point in his career. But, you know, and you see what his brother did. His brother who was at Stanford a few years back and now in the NFL.
Right.
You know, he just looked like a guy who was meant to put his hand in the dirt. Now he's gonna be in that position.
Right.
And along with him, Jacob
Lichtenstein.
Lichtenstein. You want to talk about some poly names that's hard to pronounce? Jacob Lichtenstein. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Jacob Lichtenstein is a kid, man. That's an under the radar kid. We got to pull him out of somewhere. It was Florida. I don't know specifically where he went to school.
Cypress Bay, Florida.
Okay, so yeah, he's from the Sunshine State. This kid looks like he's probably, about 260, 270 right now?
Yeah, you know, we don't have an accurate measurement on him, but I'm sure he's bigger than the 255 he was listed at last year, you know.
Right.
And he's a big kid too. He's about, you know, somewhere in that 6'5", 6'6" range.
Right.
You know, so, you know, the trend is they're long. We got some long athletes on that D-line position. Even for those big poly guys in the middle, they got long arms, you know.
Yeah.
We talked about Brandon Peely. He's a little different from your prototypical nose tackle because he's about 6'4", 6'5".
Right.
You know,
he's tall. He's up there, and this guy can reverse dunk a basketball too.
Oh man, it's insane.
He's a freak.
It's insane.
Yeah.
You know, at 340 pounds, that's just athletic. Yeah. Ain't no other way to put it.
Yeah, that's what it is, man. But I want to actually touch a little bit. I want to go back and talk about Connor Murphy a little bit. Like, he's kind of my under the radar guy on the D line.
Yeah, he's mine too. He's mine too.
Yeah, you know,
I'm expecting something from him.
Yeah, exactly. Because now he's playing his natural position.
Right, right.
You know, him standing. It just didn't look right to me. Him standing up and trying to. I think he needs to have his hand in the ground, just like Big Bro at Stanford.
Yeah.
You know, let's go ahead and let's not reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, exactly. You know? And that's what it is. And I felt like this was the plan for him from the beginning. He was just kind of lean in his frame. You know, he came in, like we said, about 6'7", but he probably only weighed about 245, 250. And on that frame, that's pretty damn skinny.
Yeah.
So now that he's bulked up a little bit, put some weight on in that SC nutritional room, you know, it's time. Yeah,
it's time for him to shine, man. He's a redshirt
sophomore.
Actually, him and Porter were in the same class. He's a redshirt junior.
Is he? No, he wasn't in the same. He was in the same class as Wale.
Okay.
He came in the class with Wale, so he'll be a redshirt sophomore.
Redshirt sophomore, right? Exactly. So, yeah, man, the kid is it's his time to go out there and make a name for himself. You know, at this point, there's no excuses as far as positions. He's playing. I'm pretty sure where he wants to play. So expecting big things.
Yeah, expecting big things, I mean, just make sure we covered all our D linemen.
There's like 10 D linemen on
we're getting thick there, man. We building that depth up, which is something that SC has lacked. And I think that's the trend across the defense. We have the depth that we haven't really had since, man, I don't even know when.
Yeah, I don't even. I mean, the
since
last
before
10
the sanctions,
years,
for
like
sure.
I don't even. This type of I mean, when we talked about it before with the sanctions, man. We had 40 to 50 scholarship players, in a given game, So this is something that's completely
brand new, especially to this coaching staff.
Right. Yeah.
So, hey, big ups to Clay Helton and the staff for getting these guys in there where they need them,
Exactly.
in the trenches. You got to have that depth in the trenches.
Got to build the team from the inside out, baby. That's how you got to do it.
So moving on to the next position group is the linebackers. And we kind of got to split the linebackers up into two groups, because the inside guys and the outside guys, they have different jobs. Our outside guys are primarily in there to pass rush.
Right.
They're able to play in space a bit. But let's focus on the inside guys, because that's who defensive coordinator Clancy Pendergrass works with specifically at times,
Right. Definitely.
You got returning starter in Cam Smith and John Houston this year. They're going to hold down the middle, and I'll be the first to say I haven't always been a big advocate of Mr. John Houston.
I think they know from the last video.
He's gotten better, though. He got better throughout the season. I've been going back, watching some film, watching some highlight tapes, and he got better. He improved, but I'm still expecting more from the 5-star this year. But, Cam Smith is a guy who's been around for a 3-year starter. What are your thoughts on Cam?
A leader. Cam came out in that heralded linebacker class.
John Houston was a part of that
John
class
Houston
too.
was a part of that class
John
too.
Houston was a part of that class too.
But you had guys like Porter Gustin, Osa Messina. Unfortunately.
Hey, prayers go out to Osa, man.
Yeah. It is what it is. Life happens. In certain situations. But Cam, out of those 4 linebackers, he was probably the one who, I liked him. We liked him.
Yeah.
But it was like, man, I can't wait to see what the other guys do.
Because me personally, I felt like I knew what Cam brought to the table. You know what I'm saying? When he came out of Granite Bay up in Northern California, he was that stout, prototypical middle linebacker. You know what I'm saying? Hard hitter, sure tackler, gonna plug the gaps.
Has some great high school highlights.
Yeah, he played in big games in high school.
Yeah.
So the other guys were a bit of a mystery. Porter was an athlete in high school. He played all over the field, from quarterback to, tight end, to outside backer, inside backer. So we didn't honestly know we were going to get. Osa kind of in the same thing. And John Houston, he was a kid from Sarah. So you always
assume,
you depend on them Sarah kids.
Right, right. And what? It's funny you said that, because I'm gonna touch on what you just said. I think with Cam, like you said, I kind of knew what to expect from Cam, so I just wasn't really checking for him. And I just figured he early enrolled, and
he was a starter from day one.
Yeah, and 3 interceptions against Utah. Later, he's our guy.
He likes to pick on Utah, man. He had a pick against Utah this past season too.
Right, exactly. This dude loves, he loves getting with them with Utah. So, but yeah, Cam is 4-year starter, man. He's our leader on defense.
Yeah, definitely the leader of the crew, man.
Smart dude, great head on his shoulders, man. He's our catalyst, you know what I mean? As far as the defense goes, we go as he goes.
Yeah. And, with John Houston by his side, I think John will come in and have a good season this year. But I will say that John Houston, I have set for an upset this year. I have him penciled as losing his spot to an incoming freshman. Believe it or
here
not.
First, BMV Talk SC.
Now, I'm not sure if it'll be in the first game, but eventually my guy, Pali Giodioti, is going to work his way onto the field. Pali is an incoming freshman from Bishop Gorman High School, inside backer, probably coming in at about 6'3", 240, 235, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, they know. They've seen our videos.
They better know.
They heard us talk about Pali.
Hey,
I can't pronounce his name like him. He can pronounce.
You gotta know who Pali is. Pali has a nose for that football, man. Something about him. And watching this game, I've been watching a lot of his highlights this past week. I just feel like that's a spot for him to move in and really make some noise.
It's a natural trend. It's a natural spot for him, man.
It is.
It's
it really
a natural
is.
Spot for him.
It really is.
I'm with you. That's why I said, John Houston gonna have to, really
step
bring
your
it.
game up.
Yeah, John Houston gonna have to really bring it, because this guy's coming in and he He ain't worried about, he's coming in to compete.
Yeah, we're talking about a kid who from day one said, "Don't give me number 55. I want to earn it.
I'll earn it. I'll rock Uno.
He's rocking the Uno, which
gonna be crazy.
Man, that's gonna look so nice standing there in the middle like that.
Yeah, it's gonna look real sweet, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be sweet.
It's gonna be nice. So yeah, man, competition.
And there's more. There's more competition in the middle. You still got Taylor Katoa.
Yeah.
And by all accounts, he was having a great camp last year before he got hurt. Before he got hurt, you know. So another guy who's going to compete in the middle, true freshman Raymond Scott, who was there in the fall, didn't make, or in the spring, excuse me, didn't make a lot of noise in the spring, but he was able to diagnose the playbook, you know, get comfortable with the college setting. So coming in the fall camp, he's going to have a chance to, you know, show what he can do.
Yeah, you never know what can happen. You know, I think Raymond, you know, I'm happy for Raymond. You know, I'm glad he, you know, he's on campus. You know, I know there was, you know, a situation, you know, a personal situation with him. But it's good to see him out there playing ball, you know. So he'll, like you said, he'll definitely get his shot. Our other guy, underrated guy, who we're trying to figure out where he's going to play on the field, Levi Jones.
Levi Jones,
Texas.
Yeah.
Levi Jones, man. Levi Jones he covers so much ground out there, man. I want to see him in the middle, you know.
And Levi is another guy. I'll throw him in the mix to have that second inside linebacker spot behind John Houston, competing for that spot, because he's a great athlete. He has good bloodlines, you know. He's got two brothers in the NFL, a dad who won Super Bowls with the Cowboys, you know.
That's right, Cowboys.
So, you know, you can't take him out the mix, right? You can't take him out the mix at all.
You can't count him out, man. And this kid, man, he played special teams last year,
right,
man, and you just see him just flying around, this long stride, long arms, just. Man, he's going to find his way on the field, too.
Oh, yeah. And Levi, you know, he brings a lot of energy to the field, man. That's one thing I noticed about Mr. Jones. He definitely has that motor. Yeah. You know, he has that motor. And when he gets his opportunity, I look forward to him showing us, you know, everything he's capable of.
Most definitely, man. I'm trying. Who are we missing that middle linebacker?
Let me do a quick search.
Like we said, the depth is real. The depth is really real.
We already we just named off 6 of them right there. Yeah. So you know,
just inside. Is that everybody?
I think that's everybody for the inside, and you know, there's a couple of guys who might. Another incoming freshman. You know, Solomon Tuliupupu. How can we forget Mr. Solo? How can we forget Mr. Solo? You know, we're talking about a guy who was Modern Day's Defensive Player of the Year last year on a team that was undefeated and won a national championship.
Yeah, and this kid said it. He let it be known this past spring. Like, I'm getting ready this year.
He's getting veiny.
I'm getting veiny.
And he did. He came in. They said, I heard reports that he's weighed in at about 250 pounds coming into camp this year.
250?
250. Solo is coming in a big boy. Solo is coming in a big boy.
He might be bigger than IE.
Yeah, he may be. He may be.
Hey, the depth is real. The team,
the depth is real.
The defense is gonna be real. No. Some of these guys we're talking about. Look, worst case scenario, it may not happen this year. But remember these names.
You look at the future of this program, and it's just headed in the right direction, right? You know, one thing about Solomon is he is coming off an injury in his senior year. He had a foot injury that he still kind of, I'm not sure what process or what point he is during his rehab process right now, but it may hold him back a little bit in the beginning of fall camp, just making sure that foot is all the way right. We know how the Trojans are with their injured players. They want them 100% before they throw them out there.
Right. So. And then the thing with him, too, because we just went over 5 linebackers before him, you know, there's no rush to really put him out there if he's not 100% healthy, especially coming in as a true freshman. You want him to have every opportunity to succeed, and if he's out there banged up, it's already going to be a learning curve going from high school to, you know, elite college football. So if he needs time to just, you know, heal, just
ease his way in.
Get your mental reps.
You know,
get those mental reps.
And one of the good things this year is the new redshirt rule. We should probably talk about that real quick. Yeah. Instituted into the NCAA this year, players can play 4 games and still use their redshirt, and it doesn't matter when those 4 games come. It used to be you had to get them early on in the season. Now you can play 4 games. So even if he hasn't played the entire season, they want to throw him in against UCLA just see what he can do.
Right.
Hey, do it, and he still preserves his red shirt. So that's a good thing for a lot of these freshmen.
Right. And you know what? I'll give him credit for that. I'll give
NCAA
credit for that move, man. Because it's like, you know, at the end of the day, you know, you don't want to. Sometimes you have situations where a kid had the red shirt because of a situation that happened early in the year,
right? You
know, but now he's fine. You know what I mean?
You know, or other situations that have happened. You know, quarterbacks, for instance. You got a guy who's a great quarterback, but you got a senior starter, so you redshirt the guy. Your number 1 guy goes down, and you know that the second best kid you got on that team for this last game is that red shirt.
Right.
Do you burn his red shirt?
Exactly.
Now you don't have to.
Now you don't have to worry about it.
You don't have to.
You don't have to worry about it because he can go ahead and play and still preserve his red shirt. So I give the NCAA credit for that one. You know, that's a big deal. You know, a big deal for a lot of these kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are the inside linebackers. I mean, those are just the inside linebackers.
Yeah. Now I was gonna say, let's move on to the outside. I'm gonna have to check the roster because we got a lot of those too. You know, let's start with the big guy. Let's start with our own personal Thor.
Man.
Porter Gustin. Porter Gustin, man. Porter. Where do you start with Porter, man? He's just a beast.
Man, I like Porter, man. The thing I like about Porter, man, is he's really becoming a leader.
He is.
You know what I'm saying?
He's still quiet, humble.
Exactly.
And he's the humblest guy, man. You want to talk about somebody who's always trying to get better?
Exactly.
You know, we hear about Porter and his freakish weight room abilities and how he's always killing it in the weight room. But I read reports, he's out there with the young guys on the bags every day.
Yeah.
Every day, you know?
Yeah. And there was one report that came out at the elite camp.
Yeah.
He was actually out there
Porter's
coaching
on the sleds.
Yeah, he's on the sleds at the elite. This is a high school football camp where all the high school prospects are, performing at USC. But he's working separately with himself and other D linemen or other linebackers. He's working with them during this this camp setting.
Right. Yeah, no days off for Porter, man. And he's really taking these other outside backers under his wing. Every time I see an Instagram video with Hunter Echols, Porter's in the background. You know, Giuliano Falanico, Porter's in the background. You know, they've really taken to what Porter is trying to show them, and they're absorbing it, man.
Right, exactly.
So that's 2 more guys, Hunter Echols and Giuliano Falanico. You know, they both came in last year, red-shirted, got in the weight room behind Porter, and just really have started to develop their bodies in a way that they're gonna compete.
Right.
They're gonna compete.
Long, kind of rangy guys. I think the roster has Echols listed at 6'5", you know,
wow,
he's got long. Yeah, they had him listed at 6'5", and he's got super long arms. You know, just more ammunition. You know, a couple more. You know, bullets in the chamber. You know,
and you kind of notice that with the outside linebackers. We have a couple of different body types. You got those long athletes who kind of rangy, like you said, and then you got a guy like Jordan Ioseppa, who's just kind of stout, strong, stout guy.
Looks like a wrestler.
You know, he came in last year and played towards the end when Porter was hurt and Christian Rector was dealing with his injury, his broken hand, and Jordan was just strong. You know, I remember early in the season when Jordan was at inside linebacker for the first game, when Cam Smith had to sit out because of that stupid Rose Bowl suspension or whatever.
Right.
And he looked kind of lost. You know, standing on the inside, playing in space, he didn't feel like it was a natural place for him to be. But then when you see him on the outside later on in the season rushing the passer, oh man, he was just relentless.
Man, rushing the passer. And then the thing I love about him that goes unnoticed, man, is the run support.
Yeah.
He's selling that. He's that edge. Nobody's getting around him.
He's such a strong guy, you know, and I think that's a common thing with these Polynesian guys. They have such natural strength, man, that when you combine that with the ability to go in the weight room and do what they do and actually learn the game of football.
Right. Get some technique, man, all that. It makes for a deadly combo.
Because I remember growing up, you know, back in the early 2000s playing football, and you just saw all these Samoan and Polynesian kids, and they were just big, strong brutes out there. They didn't really have a technique to them. They just wanted to beat you up.
Right.
And now they combining that same mentality with actual football
refining,
skills.
Refining the skills. Yeah, like you said, man, it's you know,
it's a trend. Even when Alabama starts taking notice,
right.
You know.
So y'all who follow recruiting, y'all see them trying to slowly but surely trying to cherry pick little guys if they can.
Trying to get on the West Coast. So SC is stacked with them though. You know, every position we go down, I just see more Polynesian names. It's hard to pronounce.
Yeah, man. When they make a play, just say the number.
Or shorten it up.
Yeah.
Shorten it up. Marlon T.
Exactly.
You know, and then we got another guy who we talked about previously in our films, Kanai Muaga.
Yeah, Kanai Muaga, the true freshman, came in, made plays almost immediately this past spring. Not expected at all. You know, like B said, we touched on it before with this kid, man. It's a kid that comes in, low expectations, and he's exceeding everything. So that's what you love. You love for a kid to come in and make plays when you don't even expect him to at this point in his career. So he's going to play. You know, he's going to play. If he's not doing nothing but just rushing the, just rushing. We know he can rush the quarterback.
Right.
You know, so if that's all he's doing, we'll take it for now.
And, especially one thing, a lot of these defensive freshmen, you're going to see him on the special teams.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
A guy like Kanai, he plays with his hair on fire, Imagine that guy running down on kickoff team, just looking at
I've imagined it.
Don't even got to hit the ball carrier. Just go hit somebody. Just go lay somebody out.
Just put them on. Put these dudes on punt coverage, man. I don't even care. Like, yes, our coverage unit should be great.
Yeah, we should, because these are some skilled freshmen coming in, and they just play with a hyper aggression to them.
Exactly, and just the linebackers in general, all the linebackers, all these dudes are playing special teams.
Athletic too, man. Athletic. One guy who we haven't heard much of since he's been at SC, who is considered a freak athlete coming in, Wale Betaku, from Sarah High School.
Yes.
Wale suffered an injury in the spring. He had I believe it was hip surgery, so we don't know what his prognosis is at this point or where he's going to fall on the depth chart. But Wale's been around, and let's be honest, he hasn't quite met the expectations, but I think the bar might have been set a little too high for Wale in the beginning, A kid coming from Africa, had only played football for, 2-3 years at Sarah, and, to label him as a 5-star, you think of a 5-star athlete, that's a guy who's coming in, college ready, has serious pro potential.
Exactly.
Wale,
3 and out type potential.
Yeah, Wale he wasn't that, and he got the label because he used freakish athleticism and he has some natural strength to him to beat kids at high school that probably weren't up to his level or caliber.
Right.
Now you on the stage with some guys who have been playing football since adolescent ages. It's a little different, a lot different.
It's a lot different. So it's a culture shock. That's kind of a, like you just said. In high school you can get away with so much. And to be the freak that he is, he got away with a lot, but when you're on this level now, the ceiling, that athletic ceiling isn't as high as, as it was when you were in high school.
Everybody's an athlete.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's an athlete. So if you can't really play the game, then it leaves you in in a tough spot. But there's been a lot of stuff, a lot of reports about him. There's some sort of like he's they're trying to figure something out. As far as playing.
And I hope they do. One good thing is he's still around. He hasn't left yet. As quiet as it's been with Wale, usually in this type of situation, when you see a guy and everything is like mum's the word on him, that's not a good sign.
Right.
So Wale's still on campus. He's still going to classes. He's still at workouts. So that's a positive sign.
Right.
I just hope that the development takes the next step. I'm not asking for Wale to go out and give me 10 sacks this year. You know what I'm saying? If it
just
comes
give me
to
one,
it,
Wale. No, I'm sorry.
Give me something, right? If it comes to it, though, he might have the red shirt. With the injury and everything, depending on how that's going. And we just got a lot of young guys coming up who are, let's be honest, they're a bit more ready coming out of high school than he was.
Yeah, and you know what, man? It's like you just said. The kid came from Nigeria.
Right.
He only played football for 2 or 3 years, man. This is his way out, man. So it's a kid that I'm always gonna root for, man.
Always,
because
most
this kid, his story is different than most. this is his way out, you know, and now he's at USC, and I know he's working hard, you know what I mean? He seems like a real positive kid too, you know, so it's going to work out for him either way, you know. We just hope to see him on the field making some plays, though.
Right. You know, another kid who I believe, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure has an African heritage in his background, who incoming freshman, Malik Abdul-McClain. Man, you want to talk about a kid who I do have high expectations for? It's this guy.
Yeah, this guy, I think he started out as kind of underrated, but more and more people are talking about Abdul-Malik McClain when they go and actually watch the film and look at the level of competition that this kid played against.
And I think one of the main reasons that he was underrated by USC fans, at least, was because at this point last year, he was a UCLA commit.
True.
You know, and let's be honest, we don't have high expectations for anybody who commits to UCLA.
Nah, don't go ruining your life.
Yeah.
Darnell Holmes, we love you.
At the end of the day, he's a Trojan.
Yeah.
You know, and you go back and you watch his footage from his senior year of high school, and he was tearing it up, man. You know, Trinity League Defensive Player of the Year, played inside, outside.
Everywhere.
I was watching the NFL Top 100 the other day, and I saw Chandler Jones pop up, and I said, that's him.
Man, that's a great comparison.
If we can get Abdul-Malik McClain to be anything on the level of a Chandler Jones, that's him.
That's a hell of a comparison. Because when you told me that, I was like, that was the perfect comparison.
Yeah,
like,
his body type, his frame, the long arm. He's very violent with his arms too, and that's one thing about, you know, playing D-line or rush in linebacker. You got to have violent arms. You got to be able to whip those offensive tackles around, swim over them, slap their hands down, all of that. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, man. Use your hands, like you said, and then he's a competitor out there, man. Like this kid even played offense a little bit. You know, I mean, I've seen this kid catch a screen and, you know,
and take it, what, 70, 80 yards?
70, 80 yards, you know, like, 70, 80 yards.
Who does that?
And he seems like a humble kid too, man. I look at personalities of these kids too, man. He seems like he just comes and he just works. You know what I mean?
That's something that I think the USC coaching staff has really taken into account in their recruiting approach. You know, they want kids who aren't necessarily. You might be a 5-star, but you don't boast and brag about it. You're still willing to put that work in. Okay. Getting that 5-star label, this is just the beginning. This just means I got the potential. Now I got to work to make it to where I want to go.
Exactly.
You know, there's some 5-stars out there who like, oh, I'm a 5-star. I ain't got to do that. Yeah. You know, I'm good. I'm coming in to start. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he doesn't strike me as that kid, like you said.
Right. And you know, it's about having a 5-star personality too. You can have 5-star ability, but you want to have a 5-star personality too. You want to go out there and still maintain your humbleness and go out there and work. You know what I mean? There's no entitlements. You know, high school is over. You know, all that, you know, praise is gone. Now it's time to come in and work.
Bottom of the totem pole, man. Some of these kids get humble coming into college real quick.
Real quick. You find out real fast you're not at whatever high school you was at. You know. So you got to come in, you got to fit in with the team, you know, and hey, as success grows, everybody's gonna grow. You know what I mean? Everybody's gonna get theirs. You know what I mean? Well, everybody got to have that common goal. You know.
Yeah. So, hey, one team, man. Football is definitely not along the lines of any sort of individual sport. You know, it really takes all 11 guys out there on the field to work as a unit. You know, if the O-line don't block, the quarterback can't get the pass off, and the wide receiver can't make no catch. Everybody got to be on one accord and working towards that same goal. If the D-line don't get a good rush, and the linebackers and DBs got to cover for 6-7 seconds, that's a long time, man. So everybody got to be doing their job, man.
Right.
I think Malik Abdul-McClain will come in and really just, you know, quiet, head down, do his job and work. You know.
And he's wearing 42.
He's wearing 42.
Wearing 42, so legendary number. You know.
It is. You know, Uchenna held it up well. And a lot of people probably didn't think Uchenna was gonna rep that 42 the way he did. He repped that 42.
Yeah, he brought 42 back.
He repped that 42.
He brought 42 back because the last 42 was Dallas Sartson. He was a good player. You know, Dallas was a good player, but Chenna took it to he brought it back up to that Ronnie Lott type level.
You know, I was looking for some clips for the show this weekend. every time I just see 42 right there,
42
right there, and I'm just like, man, I wish I could put them clips in there, but he gone now.
Yeah, he gone.
He's with the Chargers.
But
so.
we got a new one though. You know, we got a
so,
new one.
You know, different style of player, I think. You know, but we'll definitely see what he had. And like I said, I got high expectations for the kid. He might not do it this year as a freshman, but
yeah,
you know,
we'll see.
We got a player in Abdul.
Yeah.
Another outside linebacker, incoming freshman from Oregon, Elijah Winston.
Elijah Winston. Yes.
Elijah Winston, another guy who Trojan fans might not have gotten familiar with till later on in the recruiting process. I actually remember him because we recruited his brother a few years back. You know,
right.
His brother was an inside linebacker, and he was considered an inside by some accounts. But I think Elijah's going to play on the outside coming into the fold at USC.
Yeah, I definitely see him coming off the edge. You know, I definitely see him possibly, you know, down the line, maybe even replacing Porter. You know, he's pretty big.
Yeah,
he's
a
about
pretty
250 right now.
Yeah, 245, 250 range. I heard he may have trimmed off a little bit of that.
Okay.
Over the summer before he got in.
Okay.
So, but he's a big body kid. Like if he's already holding that kind of weight in high school,
right.
It's just a matter of reforming it and turning it from baby fat into muscle. So he'll get there again.
Exactly, and then he's got some athletic ability, so you see him coming off that edge. I think initially maybe a red shirt candidate.
Yeah, definitely a red shirt candidate.
Yeah, red shirt candidate this year, but it's one of those names that we talked about earlier. Just keep it in the back of your mind because in a year or two you'll be talking about him.
Oh yeah, he's a player. SC didn't go up to Portland for no reason to get this guy. They got him later on in the process, but. You need those big body athletes who can run, and he's one of them.
Right. Yes, sir.
So that kind of wraps it up for the outside backers. So
all the outside
man, how long have we just talked about linebackers in general now?
Just linebackers.
Yeah, we got a lot of linebackers. So our last group will be the defensive backs.
DBs.
So let's start with the cornerbacks.
Okay.
We got a few familiar names at cornerback. Our number one guy, Biggie Marshall.
Right.
Biggie had a bit of a rough season last year.
Biggie had a tough junior year.
Biggie had a rough one. I think part of that had to do with his knee injury early on in the season. May have caused a little bit of hesitation in the way he approached the game. And I think another part of it is Pac-12 refs don't understand how playing defensive back works.
And they pick on. I mean, and they get it in their minds where they like to pick on guys.
They love to pick on SC defensive backs, man. I mean, it gets a little handsy out there at times. Come on, man. Receivers and DBs both. You can't always throw the flag on kid.
You go and watch some dudes in the SEC play, man, and watch how games are officiated out there and pass. It's like. If a normal play out there would end up being, it might lead to an ejection in a Pac-12 game.
Oh man, I've been watching some NFL highlights, some NFL 100, and even their top DBs, they got hands on receivers.
Yeah,
you have to. It's not a fair advantage to just play with your hands behind your back the whole time.
Dudes are too fast, too quick. You got big dudes. It's a tough position to be in, man.
So I think Big is a victim of circumstance in that case. But at the same time, he hasn't let it deter him. He's worked on his game without being as handsy. He's worked on getting his footwork and his hips a little quicker so that he doesn't have to be as physical. But when he does put his hands on the receiver, he makes sure they feel it. You know what I'm saying? He's a sure tackler when he comes up. I've always been a big fan of Biggie Marshall, out of Long Beach Poly alumni, baby.
Yeah, we definitely love Biggie, man. We've been checking Biggie out since he was a sophomore at Long Beach Poly, So we got a lot of love for Biggie, man. He seems like he comes from a great family and all that good stuff, man. And it was really big him coming back for his last year.
But talking to his pops last year, I got to meet his father on a couple of occasions. It was always the plan for him to play 4 years.
Yeah.
They weren't naive about a possibility of leaving after 3, but they looked at everything for what it was worth and said, you know what? it's not gonna hurt to play another year, your senior year at USC, man.
Exactly, and that's the one thing we talked about in the previous video. You know, a lot of guys are in a rush to make that 3-and-out decision, you know, and all that type of stuff, man. And when you look at the big picture, it's like, look, I could play one more year of college. I'm in college. I'm still in college. I'm chilling.
And let's be real, you know, SC is the college.
Man, exactly.
You know, I'm living a pretty good life.
Yeah, I could do this for one more year and then go off. Because once you go and leave the NFL, then it's all business,
hey man,
you know?
It's feast or famine at that point.
Exactly, you know, and you see bad stories where dudes leave and then they out the league, you know, within 2 years, you know?
Yeah. You know? So, you know, and then opposite Biggie Marshall, unfortunately, we had a casualty recently. You know, Jack Jones is no longer with the USC Trojans. Jack Jones had a pretty good year last year as a cornerback, but like I said, his services will not be available this year. He's had some off-the-field issues derail him. I won't get into too many specifics, but you know, hopefully everything works out for Jack in the future. But I don't see him suiting up for the Cardinal and Gold again.
Yeah, I don't either, man. It's unfortunate, man, but you know, it's part of life. It's part of, you know, kind of what happens, you know. Everybody say a prayer for Jack Jones. You know, hopefully, you know, he can get himself together. You know, get himself, you know, back in school somewhere and playing football again. You know, that's what he does. You know, we don't notice. Nobody knows the circumstances behind what's going on with them. But you know, you just pray for him, and you know, you hope a kid like that, man, who had kind of a, you know, a little bit of a rough upbringing, you know, by accounts, and you know, just hope he, you know, he can, the light goes off, and you know, he can make something of himself.
Right,
you know,
right.
Redeem himself, you know.
So, but we do got to fill that void at cornerback.
Sure
and I think, right now, the top two competing for that position, like we touched on in our first episode, are Jonathan Lockett and Isaiah Langley. You know, and Isaiah Langley, he had a little bit of a rough go last year at times. You know, one thing I can say, it wasn't always that he was in a bad spot. He just didn't make the play. You know, Isaiah was usually in a good position coverage-wise, but he's got to be able to get around and find the ball and just get a hand on it, you know, make that play, you know. So Isaiah's competing for that spot. Jonathan Lockett is another name who we heard good things about this spring.
John Lockett, man, that's my guy, man. I've always liked John Lockett, man, you know, and we kind of talked about him in the previous video too, but I think he's going to seize this opportunity. He's going to get that starting spot.
You know, it's open for me, man. You know, I wouldn't be surprised either if one of these young freshmen come up and make some noise, you know. And if I had to choose one,
I'm supposed to talk about him yet, man. That's a team. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Well, who else we got right now?
I know, but I was, you know, but the boy. Okay, since we already on the true freshman. We got the true freshman. We do.
Okay,
OG.
Well, OG is my guy.
OG
is my guy, man.
You know.
He gonna be rocking that number 4 out there this year.
OG is, son. You know.
Elijah Griffin. He's a natural corner if you ask me, man. He's got it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's just got it.
Kids out there working, man.
Working.
Real, you know. Our corners, our two corners are funny to me, man. Them two true freshmen, because they got some little personalities on them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know,
they're real kind of quirky. They young.
They
no, they cool. They
but
cool,
they like to have fun.
Exactly,
you know?
exactly.
OG be out there doing his little dance routines and shit, but you know they got the funny color hair. But hey, they ballers, man.
They ballers, man. They seem like some good kids, man. But yeah, like you said, you know, we definitely got, you know, with I feel like Lockett, you know, just being the 5th-year senior, being around is going to end up, you know, solidifying himself as a starter. But we still got fall camp to figure it out.
Right.
You know, Isaiah Langley's a scrappy little dude, man. He's out there, you know, he's just a fighter, man. That's one thing I like about Isaiah Langley. You know, he's a fighter.
Yeah, nah, he don't got no quit in him. That's for sure. He don't got no quit in him.
Definitely don't back down, man. But to talk about, you know, them freshmen OG and then Isaac Taylor Stewart.
Yeah.
Get
some names out there for us.
Yeah, out of Helix, you know, in San Diego, man. You talk about a kid who's 6'2", 185, freak athlete. I believe his dad is a taekwondo master or something like that.
He's a black belt himself.
Oh, see, that's some shit I want to see. I want to see him on Instagram doing some taekwondo kicks. That's what I want to see. But anyway,
Isaac, he went up to the opening last year, won the fast man competition. I believe he ran like a 4.32 or something like that. Isaac is definitely an athlete. My one concern with Isaac though is the flip of the hips, man. You know, as a cornerback, you got to be able to flip them hips and run with a receiver. It doesn't seem to come as natural to him as it does to a player like OG, but it's definitely something he can work on and improve on throughout his, time at SC and starting now. You know, they're on campus now, so got to start to work on that. And one kid we can't forget about is Godfrey.
Jakari Godfrey.
Jakari Godfrey,
Up from in the base, he went, I think, Bishop O'Dowd, I believe. This kid, he came into SC with he had an ACL injury. So when he came in, he was already kind of, it was already obvious he was going to redshirt his first year. But he kind of surprised people when he was competing right away at fall camp. He didn't really sit out any fall camp last year. Yeah,
he was a bit of an underrated guy coming into SC, probably like a 3-star, low 4-star rating. But, he's a long guy, 6'2".
You're right.
So he definitely fits the mold of what Ronnie Bradford likes at his corners, big, tall, long guys. So we'll see, and then you still got Greg Johnson in the mix as well.
Man, Greg Johnson, the wild card.
Greg Johnson, and he really is a wild card because he's an athlete. Now, honestly, I thought he would eventually move over to running back, slot receiver type deal, but, he's sticking with corner, man. And I'm interested to see what he brings to the table. I'm interested to see what he can do.
I think Greg's can be a special teams demon too, honestly. I think he's an underrated candidate to return kicks.
Yeah, I was going to say he might have to slide into that kick return, punt return spot.
Yeah, I think he can definitely return kicks, man. But that's somebody, we kind of forget about, man. And he, in the spring drills that I did see, looked good. And I know these are all just drills, but we just going off of, the most recent, information that we have.
We're working with what we got.
Right, so... Yeah, I mean, he got to throw. His name was in the bag too. He put his name on put his hat on the table too. So it's a lot of depth at corner.
Yeah, oh man, everywhere. And then you move to the inside to our nickel guy. We got a steadfast starter there. Been in that spot for about 2 years now. My guy, my personal homie, Zane Harris, man, out of Crenshaw.
Yeah,
Zane, he brings it to the table. A little bit undersized, but he's a fighter. He's scrappy, man. I remember meeting the Jane. He came to SC. A lot of people forget, man. His first game at SC as a wide receiver, he put up 100 yards.
Yep, he caught about 6 passes in that game. I think.
Yeah, he started off in the slot.
Right.
Started off in the slot at SC. And eventually he moved over to the defensive side. He's had some run at the outside corner, but he's really solidified himself as that nickel guy for us, man.
Man, definitely, man. The Jane, man, if you talk about a dog.
Dog.
You talk about the personality that I want this team to have. I look no further than number 27.
Man, Jane be out there working. This
dude, we used to go to fall camp before he enrolled at SC. We used to go and watch practices and whatnot. This kid used to every day that we were there, he was there.
Dog, they said that Jane used to catch the bus up to SC and just stand next to T. Martin at practice, man.
Yep.
Before he had enrolled that summer for the spring practice, he's just up there. You know what I'm saying?
That's a dude, man. That's that grind mentality. That's that go get it mentality that I love, man. And I honestly hope he's a captain this year. Like I really do hope he's a captain.
I can see that, man. I can definitely see Ajane being a captain. Just with all he's been through at SC, having to sit out the season, the position changes. He's gritty and he's found a way. The guy who they said, "Oh, you gonna go to SC and you probably not gonna do nothing." Look at him. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I was looking up highlights. All I saw was Ajane Harris, man. Ajane was everywhere on defense. He tackles. He makes plays in the backfield. He gets interceptions. Whether you put a tight end out there for him to guard, he's going to give it his all. You know what I'm saying? He might not win every battle, but one thing about him is he got that short-term memory, too.
Man.
Something you definitely need as a defensive back,
My favorite play from him, you already know what my favorite play is from him. But from the Pac-12 championship game against Stanford, man, I think it was like a 3rd and 11. It was a 3rd and long, but they were killing us for a little while over the middle with the tight ends. Stanford stayed with some tight ends. And he went up. Costello throws the ball. He goes up with the 6'5", 6'6" tight end. Come down. It looked like the guy had the ball. He was trying to secure the ball, and it looked like the tight end made the play, but here comes his J-Nay at the last second with like a little,
just kept fighting.
Just raked it out. You know what I mean?
He just don't have no quit in him.
Don't have no quit.
He just kept fighting all the way to the end. So J-Nay is going to do what he do. You know, he's going to come in this year. He's a leader of the team, leader of the defense. J-Nay is going to go out there, make plays, and hold it down.
Right. Now, I got my guy. Can I talk about my guy?
Talk about your guy.
You know what I'm saying? So I got my other guy, man. Now, he's not going to, obviously, he ain't going to start over at J-Nay, but future, going forward, Isaiah Pola-Mao, man.
Isaiah Pola-Mao. Now, he's kind of a tweener. He's going to be in the mix between that safety and nickelback role, but he talk about a long body that can cover, man.
Yeah, I just got this weird thing, man, where I just think this dude can play nickel, man, and I think he can be a monster in that nickel.
You know, when you put a guy like that in the nickel, you kind of fill in 3 spots at one time.
Right.
You know, the safety, the linebacker, and the cover guy.
He's 6'4", he's 200. He's about 205 right now, probably.
Yeah, probably 205, 210 in that range.
Yeah, and he could put on more weight. I mean, he could, but he doesn't need to. But you know, he could. You know,
and he's smooth out there running. You know, he's just a smooth athlete. Another guy who played receiver in high school, and you know, he's just he probably ended up redshirting last year more due to injury than ability. Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Rojo broke his shoulder.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Rojo.
Hey, but that just go to show you how Rojo really, he was running last year.
Rojo packed on them pounds.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Rojo packed it on, just like Aka Cedric is doing this year.
Yeah. Another nickel guy who we haven't mentioned, Chase Williams. You know, we're just going down the depth chart, and we have so many bodies. We got bodies, man. You know, Chase Williams, a guy who enrolled early, incoming freshman. He made some nice plays in the spring. You know, just trying to get his feet wet and learn out there right now, man.
Right. Yeah, Chase, man. You know, he struggled a little bit during the spring, but it's expected. You know, it's just you know he enrolled early. You know, kids should still be in high school. You know, so yeah. But Chase is another name, man, that's gonna be around, man. And you know that everybody needs to just put in the back, on the back burner, just or on your membrane, keep it out there. But Chase is definitely gonna be a guy for the future. I definitely can see that.
You know, and then touching on the safeties, we got a returning 4-year starter in Marvell Tell.
Is he 3 year?
Well, he's been on the team for 3 years. This will be his 4th year starting. Yeah, so another guy in the same fold as Cam and Porter and Biggie. You know, Marvell is a hitter, man. I remember his freshman year, he broke that kid from Arizona State face mask.
Broke his face mask.
It was crazy.
This dude built like Snoop. You know what I'm saying? He a bigger Snoop, but he long and rangy. He long and rangy. You know.
And Marvell made a lot of plays in the passing game last year. You know, he had some nice interceptions. Marvell stepped his game up last year.
Yeah, because we had our concerns about Marvell.
Yeah,
getting stuck in the ground. Break down and make a tackle.
Yeah.
That kid is but like you said, man, he's a 4. This kid been working for 4 years, man, and this is his senior year. Yeah,
Marvell is going to do. I think Marvell is going to have a good senior campaign.
Yeah.
The other safety spot is left vacant by Chris Hawkins, who had a good career as a Trojan.
Shout out to Seahawk, man.
But you got Bubba Bolden there who can fill that void. You got Talanoa Hufanga, who he's my favorite right now. I think Talanoa is going to come in and he's got that instinct to find the ball, man.
Yeah, and you know what? I got a funny feeling about him too, man. And yeah, you've been beating that drum like you think Talanoa's going to end up starting, man. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
He just, I honestly felt like he might have been able to start on, or not start, but get some time on offense, man. You go back and watch his high school tape, and he was doing it with the ball in his hands, man.
Yeah, he really was. He really was. So yeah, he's definitely going to be a star, going forward, But a guy that this is he was my favorite recruit in this class, man. He's still around. My boy, Waikili. Swahili for Warrior.
Hey, man. You can't forget about Waikili, man.
Yeah, this is a kid. Hey, he had two pick sixes? Did he have two
pick sixes? Yeah, two pick sixes, I believe.
He's always been a playmaker, and if you go back and watch him in high school, man, his offensive highlights were ridiculous.
And for people who want to hate, because Waikili said 3 years, well, guess what? He got his degree in 3 years.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he got his degree. He graduated.
Well,
Won't. So let's go, Waikili. You know, now it's all football, baby.
Right.
It's all football.
And I would love to see him starting at free safety, man. I would love to see him back there getting his shot finally, man.
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely going to be in the rotation. You know, he's another guy who could probably play that nickel role too a lot, you know.
Yep.
So Waikili is going to be out there for sure. Waikili is going to get his time to shine. I'm sure of that.
Yep. Yeah, man. That's pretty much the whole defense. Who we
Oh man, I'm double checking right now, man. I mean, we going through so many names. It's like, could there possibly be more?
I'm like, man, that's no true freshman. We didn't sign any safeties this past cycle.
Just Hufanga, but he's more of a strong safety type. But yeah, we didn't go get a free safety this year in the recruiting cycle. So yeah, you know, Bubba Bolden is a guy who, although he's competing for that strong safety spot, I could see him definitely being, you know, Marvell Tell's replacement come 2019 season. Yeah, he kind of fits that mold of a center fielder a little bit, more than an in the box safety.
Yeah, that's the thing with him too. He gets people. I think he has a reputation as a hitter. He can hit. He can hit, but he can cover too.
Yeah.
You go back and watch him in high school. He was.
Yeah, he knows how to put his foot in the ground and cover to that hash. You know what I'm saying? So I see Bubba more in that mold than anything else in the future.
Yep. Shout out to Bishop Gorman.
Oh yeah, Bishop Gorman. You know, and that was one thing I kind of noticed early on when we was talking. A lot of these kids are from, you know, the same high schools. We got kids from Bishop. We got a bunch of modern day kids. Got some Bosco kids. You know what I mean? Prominent high schools that have been doing their thing for a long time, and guess what? We're gonna keep dipping our foot into that pool, man.
Pipelines.
Hey, you gotta keep them going, man.
It's all about them pipelines, man. But yeah, overall, you know, I feel good. You know, we feel good about the defense. You know what I mean? Having multiple players, and then you got them almost at every level. You know, with 3 years of starting experience at least. Yeah. That's only a benefit, you know, in our opinion. You know what I mean? We're gonna have some young guys, some unproven guys that we're telling you guys about, but you know they're gonna be ready. I mean, everybody eventually you gotta play. You know what I mean? So it's only a matter of time before these guys come out and we see what they can do.
And I think this year will show that a little bit more with Clancy. You know, Clancy doesn't have a track record of substituting a lot of guys, but when you have this much depth, you know, you got to play these guys.
Yeah, you got to.
They're going to be ready. We're going to have a lot of, you know, second and third year guys who are going to be, you know, down on the depth chart, but they're going to have to get worked into the rotation at some point. You know?
Yeah, you got to play them. I mean, at the end of the day, it's the coach's job to really prepare these dudes. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, if you know a guy is strong in a certain area, then just let's start there.
This is the time. This is the time to get them going. You know, and I think it proved with the injuries we suffered along the D line last year. You know, there was a heavy rotation at one point. You know that those guys were in and out, in and out, in and out, and I think that was a good thing because now it's going to allow them to feel more comfortable with what they see from, you know, maybe the linebacker position, getting more people in and out of there. So, you know, it's only going to pay dividends for the SC defense, man. Keep them bodies fresh for the season, you know, the long haul.
Exactly.
You know, you don't want to wear a guy out like Cam Smith. If you got a kid that come in and sub him for a couple of downs, let him do that. You know?
Kids got to play. I mean, the last thing you want to do is go into the, you know, next spring just looking big picture and having guys that, we haven't even seen him play. Unproven. We don't even know what he can do on the field. So we got it, man. We got all the weapons. You know, we got to just use them.
It's time. It's time, and that's where you take that next step as a program. You know, you look at Clemson and Alabama. I kind of consider them the upper echelon for what's going on right now in college football. And even, you know, throwing Ohio State, their D-line, they was rotating 8 guys on the D-line last year. You know, you gotta get these guys in there because the best experience is playing experience.
Exactly. That's the only way to learn. I mean, you gotta go out there with some live rounds, man. We could do simulations all day, but you gotta go out there and see what it do.
Man. Like Clay say, when the bullets is flying, right? So, you know, anything else you want to add to this one, Vince?
Man. Nah, I think we pretty much covered it. You know, this is a defensive video.
We went a little long, but it was because we just got so many bodies, man.
I mean, it's a good thing. We got depth. So, yeah, I mean, just bringing another one for y'all. You know, it's been a little while, so we had to come and, you know, cover the defense. We're here, like I always say every video. We're here for y'all. You know, we're putting these videos together. It's going to be a lot more content once the season starts, once fall camp starts.
Most definitely.
But, you know, just a little something to, you know, just a little aperitif, you know, until the main course.
There you go.
You know, and that's what it is.
Hey, well, for BNV, signing off. Fight on.
Fight on, y'all.